Hello and thanks for joining us on Punters Inside Run. It's that time of the week where we get together to find some winners right around the country, and the Group 1 racing continues in Perth. Another $1.5 million race, the Northerly Stakes, and we've got Pakenham with their turn with the Pakenham Cup. And Mick Sharkie joins me as always. Great to see you, mate. I know you've been out shopping around for bulls.
I have been.
But we'll get to that at another stage. Pakenham, did you find it an easy or difficult meeting? I thought it was a bit tricky.
Yeah, I thought it was very tricky as well. Form lines from everywhere, horses sort of coming from off of these provincial meetings, but also sort of remnants from some of the lesser races during the carnival time. So, yeah, old form and new form. I think this is a bit of a transitional period as we get into the summer racing, so it could get a little bit tricky at Pakenham. We'll
get to Pakenham shortly. We'll also have Nick H from punters.com.au to join us to take a look at the meeting at Rosehill. We'll have all the tips in the big call. But now let's talk about the Group 1 racing in Perth. Another $1.5 million race, as I said. The Northerly Stakes. We missed Palele last week. We couldn't find that coming from the back. What about this race? It's interesting racing. You've got the Cascadian, the old bull, if I can use that terminology, at the top, with J-Mac going across for Godolphin, and then the young filly down the bottom with Amelia's Jewel. So the top and bottom here.
Isn't it great that Godolphin's supporting the West Australian Carnival as well? And they go and take a Group 1 with Palele, who is now a stallion. They only stand Group 1 winners, so he's got a spot on the roster now in the future. And Cascadian goes over and takes on this race. He's been so consistent this prep. Almost had a bit of a non-winners tag for a while, didn't he, Matt? He was running on and running good races in Group 1 races, but not getting the job done. You have a look at his form this time around. He's got a couple in the bag, a couple of wins. He goes there as a worthy favourite, but he's got to tackle a pretty good filly who might be a once in 20 years sort of style of filly in Amelia's Jewel. Yeah,
we've got Bustler down the bottom as well, but Amelia's Jewel defeated Bustler in the Guineas. And 3-year-old fillies have been successful of late in this race. At the 9 kilogram turnaround, I mean, that for me
is a factor.
It's a huge factor.
Especially when a horse like Amelia's Jewel has the acceleration that she does. So, there was a video going around on social media. I think Simon Miller, trainer, put a little camera on Amelia's Jewel, and it had a little speedo on the side. She was hitting 70 kilometres an hour at top speed in track work.
Try doing that in Melbourne traffic. That's impossible.
Try doing that on a bull. It's really hard, old or young. So it's I think that sort of acceleration is just unheard of. And with the weight and with the inside gate, I'm in her corner. I really want her to win because I'm getting excited about the prospects of seeing her in Melbourne for an All-Star Mile.
All right, well, let's get your top 3 selections for this race. You've got Amelia's Jewel on top. What about the other 2?
Yeah, Cascadian, I think, has to be there with a massive chance. And he wins and beats me, well, so be it. But I'm going with Amelia's Jewel on top. Steinem in for 3rd. Dry tracks are the key to this horse. And she got a dry track at Flemington before a break and ran really, really well. Unfortunately, just couldn't get the job done for us at a price, but I think she's the next best.
All right, I'm very similar. I'm going with Amelia's Jewel. I can't discount that 9 kilo turnaround. She'll get the 1800 metres. She's very, very special. I've got Cascadian, who's coming off that good run behind Alligator Blood, and you mentioned is a Group 1 winner. And I'll throw in Tricks of the Trade, the railway winner. Drawn badly, so he's going to have to go all the way back, but I'll be looking for Tricks of the Trade at the end to come flying home and maybe not catch the other 2, but be right around there for 3rd. So that is the Group 1 Northerly from over in Perth. Let's turn our attention to Pakenham. We talked about the meeting being tricky. What about the actual Pakenham Cup? I think we've got 9 runners, $15 or under in the betting as far as punting goes, because it's a very hard race to separate. And you talked about horses coming through different form lines.
Yeah, and the horse I've landed on, Future Score, is sort of the new blood, I guess, into this race. Like, we know him, he's been around forever and a day, but he's 3rd up into this race. I think it's a little target race for this horse this time around, and I reckon the trainer might have a look at the Tasmanian Cups with this fella, after this race, sort of stepping through those grades to a little Group 3 somewhere if he can stand up and be counted in a Pakenham Cup. But his last start run was really, really good. I like the way he hit the line. He goes on wet or dry, but I think he's better on top of the ground.
Milford comes off a win just a week ago and knocked us out of the quaddie.
Yes, unfortunately.
51s and 15s.
But I said we were going to get it.
Yeah, well,
and I did the finger.
When we did that, it was $51, and that's why we didn't put it in.
I'm going to end up with a broken finger at the end of this series. You're just jamming it into the table, saying you're going to get every quaddie.
But are you surprised backing up a week later?
Not really. It's there for the taking, I guess, and you've got a horse in form who'll get the trip. And there's good money on offer as well. So, yeah, horses in winning form. Go around again.
All right, let's land on your top 3 selections then for the Pakenham Cup.
Future Score on top for me. Love the Ballarat Cup run. I think getting on top of the ground again is a big factor for this horse. He's got a good gait. Freddie Kersley knows him well. Ticks some boxes for me at a little each-way price. Vegas Night. Nick Ryan's stable is absolutely flying at the moment. I like the fact that he's stepping this horse out to uncharted territory. He was a good winner last time at 2,000. I think the step to 25 won't be any problem for him. And Kissinger next best, he's found some consistency as well. Can sort of be a little bit hit and miss, got the job done a couple of times as preparation, but he can loom up and just find one better.
I'm going with Wycliffe. I settled on Wycliffe. It was a good second at Flemington last start. Before, went to 2,500 metres at Caulfield on a soft track. I didn't think that was the right time. Now, fifth up in the preparation, I think is the right time for Wycliffe. Craig Williams on board, and we're looking to do what he did for Vow and Declare, the stablemate, just last week. I've got Noble Heights and Kissinger as the next two. They both come out of that same race at Cranbourne. Just a 1.5 kilo turnaround from Noble Heights on Kissinger, but I don't think there's going to be much between those two in that sort of race. While we're looking at Pakenham, your best bet away from the Cup?
Away from the Cup, race one, let's get it early. Braden Starr, who was so good at his Aussie debut, he just smoked that field first up. This is a nice step forward for him. Matty, I think he'll go and win again. He's not a flash price. I think he's $2.15 or something like that, but it should be a case of get in early and get the money.
Other bets or value bets we should look at? Yeah,
Chicago Bear in the last, another import, so sort of top and tail in the card with these imports, but very, very unlucky at Flemington on Cup Day. I loved him on that occasion and thought his jump outs were really good. I expect him to go and win this. And best value, I think, is in race 8, Paldoro. Great first up win. He's been a horse that's been a little bit fickle. I think he's got more ability than what we've seen. Maybe mentally, with a little bit more age and time on his side, he'll mature and start to put that on the table for us.
Well, my best bet's the same as yours, Braden Starr, to kick off with a win. My other bet I'm looking at is in race 8, but looks like Elvis, who won the race last year, has been trialling well. So, and that is race 8, number 2. It comes down from Warwick Farm, knows how to win this race. And best value, race 2, number 4, Santero. I think the dry track is the key to Santero resuming for that stable. Hasn't won at benchmark 78 level before, but I think could run a very good race at around that $15 mark. All right, that is the meeting at Pakenham. Nick H. set to join us to talk racing at Rosehill next.
The betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.
It's Punters Inside Run. It's time to look at racing at Rosehill. Nick Hluchaniuk from punters.com, or Nick H as we like to call him, joins us. Mick Sharkie's always here. Nick, great to see you once again.
Yeah, great to be here. It's no feature racing in Sydney this week, but a good betting card, which is always important.
No Gong, no Hunter, no Everest, no Big Dance, no Little Dance, no Nutbush City Limits, no nothing.
Just but we don't have to wait for long though. Next week, another $2 million race coming up. So, as I mentioned, it is a decent betting race. A couple of interesting runners on the card.
Before we get into Nick's tips, Brutality is running
again.
Again.
I can't take it.
Why
it
not?
has been brutal.
Yeah.
Well, you spot one early in a prep over a distance that's unsuitable and you stick with it and you think, you know what, I'm going to make some money on this horse this prep. And they just don't do it for you, Nick. And it's a dagger to my heart. I'm a nice guy. Why do I deserve this sort of punishment for Brutality?
We go again.
Oh, I'm going to have
one
to.
More.
Because I'm sick.
One more.
Because I am not quite right. So I'm going to have to go again.
Got a fair bit of weight.
He's got 78 kilos, I think. I think I'm riding him. I'm waiting for the call.
Starting in the grandstand and carries the grandstand.
Yeah,
so
it's
a bit
good,
against
isn't it?
him, but
he should be 50-1, shouldn't he?
Yeah, well, he does have that Group 1 form, I guess.
He does.
All right, let's get into it as far as tips are concerned. Nick, what have you got for your best at Rosehill?
Best race for number 7, Frumosa. Will admit, brought back nightmares when I saw Barrier 1.
Yeah.
If we remember, last preparation ended up on the fence in a race and had nowhere to go. One of just 2 of her defeats. Her other one was behind a good horse in Hope in Your Heart. So look, she's the best horse. And I think we're getting a price here that I can take the risk on Barrier 1. I guess if she just flops out, it wouldn't be the worst thing. Just ride her like the best. As long as Rosehill we can make ground on Saturday, just go back to last and circle them. Did jump out okay, showed some decent speed in its most recent trial. So if that is the case, perhaps you can push up a bit further. But look, she's the quality. I think she can win.
All right, what's your best at Rosehill?
My best is Gaza Blanca. I think off that.
Money says you're right.
Oh yeah, well, wasn't it some sort of win as well last start? And obviously in Melbourne, it's got to go the Sydney way now. But he looks like a horse that the penny is just starting to drop with. He goes up to Sydney, I think, in a pretty decent sort of race, Nick. There's a few horses in this field that have got better than average ability, I'd have thought.
Yeah, I thought there was probably 4 or 5 leading chances, but that last win there in Victoria just put them away really quickly.
Yeah.
I think it is the one to beat.
Yeah, and obviously the runner-up in that race, Greece, is really highly thought of. So I think it beat a good one.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll go with Casablanca.
My best is in the final race. It's race 10, number 3, Estadio Mastala. It sounds like something you order at Guzman and Gomez. No sponsorship available. But I just love the way it weaved through from that barrier, and sort of once it got clear, J-Mac just went bang, pressed the button, and it won like a good horse.
It did, clearly got a lot of ability. I guess the only question on Saturday, it's drawn wide, was able to find the fence there. First up in Oz, but looks a really talented one.
All right, some other bets for us.
Yeah, next best, race 7, number 11, Amathuba. It took a long time, this mare, to break through, but she's hit her straps, end of last prep, couple of nice runs, a big win, and a second behind a good one in Victoria as well. Resumed there at Campbell and just caught wide, so I thought that was a really good effort, drawn to get the right run on Saturday. And just with value, race 5, number 6, Dalalat. It's another even race, this one. He's another one that got caught wide there first up, so never really came into it, but beaten less than 4 lengths. I thought
through the cracks last week, we almost got it.
Yeah.
Fourth, was paying a great amount the place.
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't around a huge race, and Dale was well back too, wasn't it? First up, and he was 26 to 16 with the official prices, so they were speccing it at a price to run well.
The money was there, and I think he's performed well in this type of race before. So I think $15 might have been available early for this race. I think that's a good price.
All right, that's the value for Nick now. We're groundbreaking territory here, punters. A quaddie from Nick H.
Yeah, look,
no pressure, none at all.
None at all. There's a lot of shorties here in the quaddie leagues, but I'm not game enough to go one out with any of them because I've got a few queries, but we'll just work through these. The first leg, 1, 10 and 11. Second leg, I've got a bit of cover here, 1, 4, 7, 10, 12, 13. The third, 3, 4, 9 and 10. And the final one, 1, 3 and 11. $100 will give you 46.3%.
46.3 cents.
You know what?
Nick Q.
I reckon you'll get that.
I really hope so.
I think you will.
I need it.
Left hand and right hand now. You're going to save your finger.
You
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah. Mate, great as always.
Thank you.
All right, Nick H joining us from punters.com. And got the quaddie numbers, but don't worry about that if you missed out, because next up we're going to recall all of his tips and all the best ones flying around.
The betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.
This is the big call where we recap all the tips right around the country, and we'll start at Rosehill. We'll start with Nick H's best bets, and he likes Frumos in race 4, number 7. His next best is Amathuba in race 7, number 11. His best value comes up in race 5, number 6, Dalalat. And his groundbreaking new quaddie, 1, 10, 11, 1, 4, 7, 10, 12, 13. 3, 4, 9, 10, and in the final leg, just the 3, 1, 3, 11. That's at 46% for a $100 investment. Shark.
Confidence was high there too. I like the fact that he put a couple around with the short price favourites. So
he's looking
just
for,
if there's a split, we get a little bit of fat there. My best for the weekend, the Northerly Stakes. Amelia's Jewel number 16 on top for me to beat Cascadian 1 and Steinem number 12. The Pakenham Cup, Matty. Now it's one of your favourites. Future Score. He's been around for a while, but I think he'll win. Number 3 to beat Vegas Knight, number 9, and Kissinger, number 6. Pakenham, my best. I think it's your best too.
It is the same.
Race 1, number 7, Braden Start. Next best, Chicago Bear. Race 9, number 5. Best value, Paldoro. Race 8, number 10 at each race. I think he's around $8, something like that. Rosehill, my best there. Gaza Blanca, race 3, and number 2.
All right, my best bets for the day. In Northerly Stakes, I'm with you. I'm with Amelia's Jewel and Cascadian, but I've got Tricks of the Trade number 10 to run third. In the difficult Pakenham Cup, Wycliffe number 7 to beat Noble Heights 8 and Kissinger number 6. Best bet is Braden Star, race 1, number 7. Next best is Looks Like Elvis, race 8, number 2. My value at Pakenham is in race number 2, and that is Santero, the horse number 4. And my best at Rosehill is race 10, Estadio Mastala at number 3. And my quaddie at
Did you get last
Pakenham,
week?
no, missed by 1 at Milford.
Wouldn't read about it, would you?
Yeah, missed by 1 again. 1, 3, 8 and 10. In the second leg, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Just got 3 in the third leg. I've just got Elvis, Jimmy, and Nicolini Vito. Sounds like I'm in a bar at Goodfellas.
Does it?
3, 4, 5, and 8, and that'll give you 41% for $100. So that's it. We're done.
Matty, I reckon you'll get that quaddie.
I reckon you're gonna break that very soon before the end of the year. Thank you as always, Shark.
Good on you, Matty. Good fun.
And thank you for joining us here on Punters Inside Run. Remember, you can subscribe below and you get all the tips next week and right throughout as we go along. Tipping winners, left, right and centre.
The betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.